Hi, my name's Abby Blears and I'm a UK-based matchmaker and dating coach, and today I'm going to talk to you about relationship myths. The reason why I want to talk about relationship myths today is because they're just not very helpful. So we often don't know what to believe, we're told things from when we're a very small child, and we're also fed lots of information from the media, from magazines, books, films, parents, grandparents, friends, you name it, they've told you a myth. And we just do not always know what to believe. So I am going to dispel 5 myths for you today. Some of my myth dispelling is based on research, which I am going to put in the bottom of this video in the descriptions box, but some of it has just come from my own observations, having worked in the matchmaking and dating industry for the last few years. So my first myth is that there is a certain amount of time that you have to be single for after a breakup. This isn't true. This usually will come in the form of a friend coming to you because you've started to date someone who's recently out of a relationship and they're concerned that this guy is on the rebound. Awesome friend, not terrible advice, however, it's not necessarily true. So if you are thinking, oh, I don't know if he's on the rebound, just take a step back and see where that relationship goes. Don't go hurtling into it at breakneck speed or anything, but certainly don't just rule someone out because they moved on from their last relationship quite quickly. Every relationship is different and every person is different. And also your friends may say to you like, oh, you know, be careful, your next relationship is going to be a rebound, you just got to sleep with loads of people. Once you've slept with loads of people, you'll be able to find your boyfriend. It's like, you don't actually have to do that. You can be in a relationship. Sometimes you've detached from the relationship before it's ended. Sometimes it comes out of the blue and you're really shocked and it can take you a very, very long time to get over. Just don't let anybody tell you at which pace you need to move at because it's completely individual. So myth number 2 is that women fall in love faster than men do. Absolutely categorically not true. In fact, research suggests that men fall in love a little bit quicker than women do. So women, you've got more power than you think. The third myth is really important for anyone out there who thinks that their love life and the passion in their relationship has died a death and are concerned about that. So myth number 3 is that passionate love increases over time. Not true. Passionate love actually declines over time, and that will happen between 12 and 18 months. So at that point, you will probably be less inclined to want to have sex as much as maybe you did at the very beginning of your relationship. And all I want to say about that is that this is completely normal and nothing to panic about. Now, what happens here a lot of the time is that people either break up or they go to their friends and their friends are like, well, I've been fine, we're still doing it loads, or watch films and think it just is meant to keep going and going and going and going. What will happen is that something called companionate love will increase over time, and it's that love that is most important to keep you together. Passionate love and companionate love can coexist and do coexist in lots of really great relationships. But a lot of the time, you just need to know how to spice up your relationship and you need to be doing things to actively work on your relationship. Good relationships don't just happen like they do in films and movies. You have to work on them. So we need to just think about that and get rid of the notion that things will just be perfect when the right person comes along. And myth number 4 and 5 are ones that I've coined myself as being myths, and you'll probably agree with me when you think about it. So the 4th myth is that when you meet the one, you'll know. Or this myth will come to you in the form of somebody who's happily married saying to you, when I met Harold, I don't know why it's called Harold, but when I met Harold, I knew that's the man that I'm gonna marry. My nan used to say this, and it's like, Nana, you were 14, you were lucky. And that's how I see it, and I think it's wonderful, but it's not the case for everybody. I know many, many, many more single people who felt that they were going to marry someone and instantaneously knew that they were going to marry someone, and then they didn't. I also know many people who thought that they'd found the one, married them, and then divorced several years later. It's actually much better to not put pressure on yourself and to not feel like you need to know instantaneously. The problem with this myth is that it makes us feel like we have to instantaneously know, instantly make a decision. So we go into a first date, we see them, we're like, oh no, he's not the one. I'd know if I knew. I'd know. I would know, wouldn't I? I've been told by all my friends and my family that when you know, and I know he's not. And we panic. And it's not good for us because actually it just isn't true, and sometimes it takes a while for us to get to know someone, to realise the parts of their personality and the parts of them that are like magic that you can't possibly tell from like an instant moment. Like realistically, it doesn't make any actual sense. Got a bit passionate there. And if you think you have seen someone and that is the man that you're going to marry, I would definitely just slow down a little bit because you need to get to know him. He could be a psychopath. Myth number 5 is one that I think you should like try and just like look out for when you talk to people who are like bitter about their exes, or they've just come out of a relationship, they're feeling bad, or just anyone who just kind of doesn't really like the opposite sex. By the way, I've been this person. And this myth is any phrase that starts with all women or all men. And you can probably apply it to like most sentences that start with all. Like a lot of the time we use what we might call an absolute to make something sound like it's an absolute fact, it's an absolute, applies in every situation. And then when you pick it apart, it's like, well, actually it can't be all people. I used to think that all men were evil, apart from my dad and my brother, which is kind of strange because I can't just have the only 2 decent men in my life and they happen to just be my dad and my brother. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but I genuinely used to think that. And I actually understand that when you've been burned by a lot of people, you start to think that it's logical, really, to start to think, oh, well, maybe they're all like that. And actually, when we start going into that headspace, we need to just pull ourselves back and be like, it can't be true. There's always one that isn't. So there's always going to be one guy who isn't cheating. There's always going to be one woman who doesn't like Prosecco. My boyfriend thinks that all women like Prosecco. I do really like Prosecco though. Thank you so much for watching today. I have now got 6 subscribers and I only had 1 last week. If I can get to 12 subscribers by next week, I feel like I'll be winning. So if you're enjoying these videos, please do subscribe. And also you can follow me on Instagram @AbbieBlairs and head over to my website if you just want to know a little bit more about how I work and the sort of coaching that I do. Thank you, bye-bye.